Assalamu alaikum. Hello. My name is Anaya, and I'm a Muslim. I've been Muslim for 6 years. I wasn't always Muslim. I grew up Christian. And generally, when I meet Muslims who are born to Muslim parents and raised in Islam, uh, the first question that they ask me, because they're always very interested, is how did I come to Islam? And in the beginning, I thought my story was very boring, very simple, very typical. Not very long at all, but as time has gone on, I have come to realize that coming to Islam for me was a lifelong journey. And so finally, the other day, I decided to write down my story, make it the official story, and then I decided today that inshallah I will tell it in a video, and anybody's welcome to watch the video. However, comments for this video will be moderated. I'm not going to allow people to do open comments because, unfortunately, I've seen the horrible things that people comment on other such videos, and sorry, no bashing of Islam or of the prophets, peace be upon them all, will be tolerated on my channel. So comments will be moderated. Anyways, so Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, in the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. My reversion story, inshallah. My journey to Islam by Noor and Naya. My journey to Islam was really a lifelong experience. Ever since I was a little girl, I was fascinated with South Asian culture. Then as a teenager, and as a result of a book report in high school, I became totally obsessed with Lawrence of Arabia. And he had a strange fascination with Islam, so I studied that. And then before that, my brother, he had an extensive collection of National Geographics that some friends of our parents had given us, and there was a correspondent by the name of Thomas J. Abercrombie, who was actually a revert. And in the 1950s, he covered the Hajj for National Geographic. And I remember reading the article, obviously not in the 1950s, I read it in, I don't know, the late 80s. I read the article, and I was looking at the pictures of all these people circling the Kaaba, and I remember thinking to myself with great emotion how much I wanted to be there. I didn't know what it was, I didn't know what they were doing, I didn't understand anything at all about it, but something in my heart told me that this is where I wanted to be. This would be a good place to be. But I didn't understand that a person could become Muslim. I didn't understand that Thomas Abercrombie had not always been Muslim. I was only 12 or 13 at the time. And so I thought becoming Muslim was like becoming Hindu. I mean, you couldn't do it. You had to be born Hindu, and that was it. I also thought that women couldn't go on Hajj. I thought it was only for men because the pictures that Thomas Abercrombie submitted were of the men only because he was chronicling his Hajj. I didn't understand it was because of the segregation of the genders and that there were a lot of women there too. Also, growing up, I was always very artistically minded. I was always drawing and writing and things like that. And I remember I started writing a lot of Arabic words. I didn't know what I was writing. I would write the words on the Saudi flag. I would draw the Saudi flag and I would write the words. I didn't know then, but I was writing out things like Bismillah and the Shahada. The Shahada is the Muslim declaration of faith. Anyways, as the saying goes, life goes on. I finished high school. I got married, went to college, went to work. I forgot all about my obsession with South Asia, with the Middle East, and Islamic art. I was living in Austin, Texas, and that's home to the University of Texas and loads of Pakistanis and Indians. I started making friends with these Indians and Pakistanis, and I finally met my first real-life Muslim. I had grown up in a rural area, so there's not a lot of Muslims or Arabs out there. In trying to learn more about Pakistan, because I knew nothing at all about Pakistani people, nothing. So I wanted to learn about the country. I always want to learn about where my friends come from. In doing so, I started hearing more about Islam because Pakistan's official name is Islamic Republic of Pakistan. And also at the same time, I started to notice that there was a difference between my Hindu and Muslim friends. And I had a really good side-by-side comparison because I also had friends, they were Indian, Hindus, Indian, Muslims. And I noticed there was a difference. Even if they were not really good practicing Muslims, you know, a lot of Juma and Eid Muslims, there was still something peaceful to them, and there was something different that my Hindu friends just didn't seem to have. I'm not saying my Hindu friends were not happy or nice or anything else, but there was something different I was noticing. And so this also made me want to find out more about Islam. I wanted to find out what was different. So, in the course of conversations with my friends, I discovered that someone could actually become Muslim. I was just like, wow, I was shocked, really. Because at the same time, I had become so disheartened with Christianity, and I was really feeling spiritually lost, and I had started looking into other religions. I was no longer attending church. I was married at the time. My now ex-husband, he was Lutheran, but he was not religious. He just did it because everybody else did it. You know, his parents were Lutheran, his grandparents were Lutheran, so on and so forth. So he was a bit worried about me because, you know, I'm sure I was acting strange, but he allowed me to pursue my search. I tried Buddhism and Shintoism, but I was completely confused by the concept of all these gods and goddesses and spirits and all these other things. Also, it's totally not done in English at all. Okay, I know people will say, well, you know, Islam is done in Arabic. Well, no, I mean, yes, we have du'as, prayers, and we recite the Quran in Arabic, but you can get a lot of English or you can get a lot of your regional language, whereas it seemed like Buddhism was totally, no, it's all done in, I found out later, what, Sanskrit or something, which nobody even speaks anymore. Anyways, I knew Hinduism was out of the question because, like I said, you had to be born into Hinduism, and also it always kind of seemed like it was some sort of spiritual journey type thing, the likes of the Beatles and hippies and whatnot. If you're not Indian, I'm talking about, you know, white Western people. Anyways, I was really starting to feel like that there was not a religion out there for me, that nothing seemed to fit what I need, nothing seemed to be saying what I was feeling in my heart. I yearned for religious structure and for clarity. Christianity had lost me once I started questioning the whole 3-into-1 teaching, you know, the triune God, the Trinity, whatever you want to call it. Finally, with Islam, I had found a religion that was teaching that God is one, has no sons, nor was he begotten. Then I went online and I started chatting with loads of Muslims. Stopped socializing with my non-Muslim friends. I stopped eating and drinking the things that were haram. I even started buying my meat at a halal market. But I still had not said the Shahada, so I was still not Muslim. I was starting to live like a Muslim, but I wasn't Muslim yet. Because I wanted to learn as much as I could about Islam. I wanted to be sure, what was I getting myself into? And I have obsessive compulsive disorder, and this came in very handy here. I would stay up all night studying, and I would ask my friends questions, and I would take notes on everything. I would sleep maybe 3 or 4 hours, and then I'd get right back at it again. I soaked up all the information that I could, but I had still not taken that final step. Then one day a friend said to me, "Do you know what the difference is between you and me?" I said, "No." They responded, "You haven't said the Shahada yet. That's it. That's the only difference." Around that same time, someone had also given me a link to a lecture that Hamza Yusuf did about all the people walking around this world who were Muslim but didn't know it yet. That got me to really thinking. Then the final blow came when another friend asked me, "What's going to happen if you die before you say the Shahada?" Stop delaying it. Say it already. So finally, August 31st, 2002, in Austin, Texas, at a regional Dawah conference, I said the Shahada. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulallah. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad, peace be upon him, is his messenger. Then I promptly got divorced from my Christian husband, who had made it very clear that he was never going to become Muslim. He wasn't a very good Christian, but, you know, I guess he felt that being Christian was better than being Muslim. I don't know, you know, it's whatever. And then I decided to move to Chicago so I could be around more Muslims. And the rest, as they say, is history. I just want to add that Islam truly is the natural religion. And for those of us whom Allah guides to Islam, we discover that it was with us in our fitra, our nature, all along. I was a Muslim and I didn't even know it. And I can tell you that the term revert fits much better than the term convert. I prefer the term revert. Because when I became Muslim, I was doing nothing more than reverting back to who I was, to who and what I was as a 6-year-old girl. I had the same beliefs about God then as I do today. It was just that the time in between 6 to 26 that everything had gotten messed up. Alhamdulillah, Allah gave me the choice to get it all straightened back out. Thank you very much for watching. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum. The story was very boring, very simple, very typical. Not very long at all, but as time has gone on, I have come to realize that coming to Islam from those who were born to Muslim parents and raised in Islam, the first question that they ask me, because they're always very interested, is how did I come to Islam? And in the beginning, I thought my story in a video, and anybody's welcome to watch the video. However, comments for this video will be moderated. I'm not going to allow people to do open comments. Assalamu alaikum. Hello. My name is Anaya, and I'm a Muslim. I've been Muslim for 6 years. I wasn't always Muslim. I grew up Christian. And generally when I meet Muslim, it was a lifelong journey. And so finally the other day, I decided to write down my story, make it the official story. And then I decided today that inshallah I will tell it